just look at it, but when you look it in retrospect, that's when you see like, oh, I missed a big opportunity. Oh, look at that opportunity that I actually was able to get into. And people, that's one of the reasons why I always said to you guys, besides not necessarily investing on everything, because like, first of all, no one has liquidity to do such thing. And second, because there is a lot of things happening in the space, you need to know what's going on. You need to at least have a glance or idea on what is happening, what's being built. And that's one of the reasons why we are here today, to unpack Galaxys with the team itself. By the way, guys, I don't know if you realize this, but Andres is actually the CEO of Galaxy. Leventi is the CTO, and Shoya is the CCO. And Shoya, I want to just ask you a question, since you are, reviewing and managing all the communications for Galaxys. Like, should I call it Galaxys, or like doesn't matter? Like, my accent is okay no matter what I say. Just like, if I'm saying the name of the project, is it okay?
Well, is it okay? But we love to say it Galaxys.
Okay, so moving ahead, not just me, but everyone that is here listening to us. And by the way, more than 1,100 people already joined us. We do know Galaxys moving ahead. You guys know it. So if someone says it like in other way for you, you can now correct your crypto friends and let them know that it's actually Galaxys. I love that. And moving ahead, like, I think that we can then start to deep dive into Galaxys specifically. So I want to share, I'll let these questions more open for all the three of you to chime in whenever you guys feel comfortable to. I see the audience also engaging a ton here. So if anything pops up that you guys feel like relevant to talk about, feel free to do that. But I want to use guys to share a little bit more of the origin story of Galaxys, because I see that the three of you, for example, have completely different backgrounds. So what actually motivated you guys to actually bring this technology to Web3 and put it all together, like the vision from the beginning? Like, has that changed? Because many projects, like, or many businesses in general, when you first start, you have a vision, you have an idea, and then when you start building, you see that like the demand is different, maybe something is different. So how was that process for you guys?
May I take it? Basically, when we started building on the blockchain like 10 years ago, we had the same vision. It has always been the same, because what blockchain is good for, it can enable people to directly connect with each other, and it can enable creative people to monetize their own creativity. It can enable communities, it can enable projects to directly connect with the people who are actually interested in that particular project or community or open source project or educational project, and directly interact with it and directly work with it. And this was our idea since the very beginning. When we started Galaxys many years ago, it was actually came out of a necessity, because we were working on an educational project, and it was next to impossible to get funding for that. So VCs and similar entities were not really interested in educational projects, because it is good for a lot of people, but it's not really good to make a large amounts of money. So we wanted to see what alternative ways we can come up with that could actually help sustain a project like that actually is good for many people, but not necessarily makes money for example, for VCs. So what we came up with is to create a community management system that can help this kind of projects, like, again, educational project, open source projects, ecosystem works, and other similar projects that can directly reach out to their community, build community, give them value. And when we are talking about value, we are not necessarily talking about monetary value. We are talking about things that is being valued by the community. So give them value, give the community value, and then enable the community to support the project, the person, the entity, the people behind that endeavor. So that was the original start of Galaxys, and this actually did not change. What did change is the approach, and based on this couple of years of experience in the space and working with communities, The approach did change and became much more cleaner and much more streamlined, but the actual reason why we wanted to do that, it did not change. It's been the same.
It's interesting just to see that vision. I don't know if Shoya or Levante want to chime in on this as well, but I do believe that a lot of people in crypto are always driven like by narratives, right? We are always looking for the next big narrative, like the next big thing. And I think that just like being in the market as long as you've been, for example, Andres, just gives you a completely different perspective on the things that are actually needed and all that. So I don't know, like for example, for you, Shoya, like coming from the communication and marketing background, like do you feel like have you had already that vision for Web3 and all that, or is that something that actually like you had that vision kind of like a Web2 based way, and then when you started to work with those guys, that's actually when it started to like flourish on your mind that this could potentially be a great fit for Web3 and a great value proposition as a whole for Galaxis?
Well, the point where we connected in a very, very meaningful way with the Galaxis team and Onrush is that my like flagship, let's say, is the value-based communication, how we approach the whole business communication and digital communication. What we can see in Web2 and could see in the past 10, 20 years that everyone is seeking for attention. They want to do sales and they just want to grab as much money and as much profit as possible from the participants. But when first time I heard about Galaxis and the vision and how the sustainable economy should work in the Web3 environment, I was like, yes, that's it. If you give value to your community, then you don't have to play with their senses. You don't have to tweak around your messages. You know them, so there is a genuine relationship between the community owners and their communities, and this is the future of the economy and communication from my point of view, and that's why I'm super happy to work with this project.
And you don't need to sell their data.
Yeah, and that's interesting.
Yes, 100%.
That's one point that is very interesting, and I like that Shoya shares her point of view, because I don't know, for example, how much percentage of our audience here are coders or non-coders. Me, myself, for example, like I'm a non-coder. Like I don't know how to code at all, and just like by having those ideas and understanding, for example, oh, this could be interesting. There is a demand for this. Like we should build something like this. I want to also ask Levante, like how hard it is to actually put something like that together, because this is a question that I always had in my mind. Like there are some interesting things that we think of, oh, this could be a great solution, this could be interesting, and I feel like you guys are nailing it, but how hard is actually to put it all together? Like I don't think it's simple, but I want to hear from you.
Oh, sorry, I was having issue unmuting myself. It's not about how hard it is or how not hard it is. Why is it exciting for me? I remember a few years ago, one of my friends asked whether I'm stressed at work or not. And I easily said no, not at all. And I realized my answer was because, however, as a developer, you always have to take responsibility of whatever you do. But it was a different world when you can do, like, for example, an update. And it's a completely different thing when you make and build an application that is permanent, that is there, that is open source, and everyone can see every single little piece of it. And that you put live. And that is the smart contract that they will use. And that was the first moment of excitement for me in this world, and that's what we started to continue. And then from Andras and the team, I realized the capabilities of this technology, and basically how we can use it in community building and how we should use it in community building, and what's basically my thinking of what is public information, what should be public information, what is publicly reachable data. Everything changed, and it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know the fact that that it is so easy to say that you are working with blockchain,
Exactly.
but actually the
Yes.
technology behind it is not really blockchain. So to keep up with the original values, because the original values are very clear. If you use this technology right, what you can give to your community members and your communities is digital objects, digital value that can actually be owned by the person who owns it, and it does not belong to a server. Google cannot switch it off, Apple cannot switch it off, but it actually belongs to the person or entity who owns it. Many projects we have seen over this decade claims to be on the blockchain, but actually it's really Web 2 or Web 2.5. So building an actual application and everything with it in a way that it is actually decentralized is not that easy. But once you do it, you can actually maintain and uphold the values of the technology, and you can create something that without this technology cannot be created. Is actually digital objects, digital value that can actually be owned by somebody. And I think this is amazing. This is something that worth the effort that we need to put in to make it happen.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right in the head there. A lot of people are, as I said before, looking for the big narrative, like looking for the big splash marketing slogan on crypto, etc. But not a lot actually pay attention to what is actually being built, if this is actually crypto related, blockchain related, etc. And I think that one thing that actually helps people to tangibilize this and understand is also when projects have like notable collaborations, like with other players, high figures, entities in the space, etc. So I also want to know from you guys, like, I mean, can you provide some insights on this as undertaking, maybe some high profile figures, maybe entities like collaborating with?
Incredible partnerships with Chainlink, ENS, Polygon, and we are also super happy to be here with CoinMarketCap. And while building the platform, we had a couple of industry firsts as well. Like we deployed the first dynamic NFTs on the blockchain, created the first forgeable NFTs, and a lot more. And during these past 2.5 years, we were happy to work with heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson, NBA Rookie of the Year LaMelo Ball, the associate about the tech part between.
Sure. Just a couple of things about it. We always wanted to make sure that we provide that extra. I mean, issuing NFTs or anything like that, this is not difficult, not complex. What we wanted to do, that we always have that utility, even in the very early days of the platform, we always had that extra utility on these digital items that made them useful. For example, when we worked with Mike Tyson, there was one of these digital objects that the owner was able to redeem a utility from them that enabled them to book a meeting with Mike Tyson and actually go visit them at their farm. That was like a utility badge on that NFT, and the owner of that NFT did redeem it and did go and meet Mike Tyson. And it is a very nice story, especially the ending, because what happened is after this person went through this experience of redeeming this utility, utilizing it, enjoying it, after that he became one of our investors, because he said, yeah, I can see the value in this. Very similar we did, for example, when we worked together with the NBA, the Basketball Association, which was a collaboration between us and between Chainlink. Then we created a collection for them where it was a collection of these digital cards with the player's face on them, and every day as the games happened, the cars changed based on the performance on the play of the players on the basketball court, and that was something amazing. That was actually a very dynamic experience, and these are the kind of things, these are the kind of utilities and dynamic features that that helped us to come to this release of the platform that we are having now, where when all of these things are actually available for anybody,